Jollywood Nights are finally here, and we're going to talk about that. We've got all kinds of Christmas and holiday updates, and people are doing ridiculous things in queues. We're going to talk about that too. All tonight on ParksCenter. Welcome to ParksCenter for November 12th, 2022. I'm your host, Rob Whiteside. Thank you guys. Thank you, as always, for being with us. We appreciate you. If you have not already, please subscribe to WDWNT TV for more great content, and also give this video a thumbs up as it helps people to find us. I also want to say happy Disney Plus Day. They're not celebrating, but it is Disney Plus's birthday, so just let's throw that out there. And let's introduce our panel for tonight, starting with Allison. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Rob?
Just dandy. Thank you so much. And Desi?
Bright Suns.
And Mr. Patrick Hackett. How are you, sir?
I am fantastic. What's up, team?
How's it going, fam? What's up? Thank you guys for being with us. We appreciate you. Tonight we're going to talk about a lot of things, but we're going to start by talking about holidays. And the first one we want to talk about is something... Man, this has been a long time in the making. Hey, Patrick, do you remember when the epicenter of all things Christmas in Disney World was Hollywood Studios, and you would go there and see the Osborne lights and all that stuff? Remember that?
Why do we have to start off the show so sad? Like, that's just upsetting.
No.
Osborne lights were the best thing. They were amazing. Yeah. Go watch our Back to the Future on that, where Ashley and I both openly weep.
That sounds like a wonderful time to have. Let's do that sometime. But the Jollywood Nights has started, and it is at Hollywood Studios. It is a hard-ticketed event because, golly, we need to have more hard-ticketed events so that people can spend their money. They've got too much of it. Disney said, you know what, we can help you out. We're going to have another hard-ticketed event. So while they're balancing Mickey's Very Merry Christmas, which we'll talk about in a second, they've also started Jollywood Nights. And instead of just having a night where you come in like the Osborne Lights and you just walk around for free, they thought they might charge you for that. So the Jollywood Nights, I know, Allison, you've talked about before some of the stuff you were excited about for Jollywood Nights, but now that you've seen it, now that it's happened, and the first one was last night, is there stuff that you're like, yeah, now I'm even more excited, or you're like, I'm not quite as excited as I was?
No, I think I'm more excited because I think when they first announced it, there weren't that many details. The concept art is really, like, I'm really into it. It's just, this is sort of like a Disneyland style hard ticketed event, right? It's like adult centric. It's like not the family style thing. And it's something we haven't seen in Hollywood studios for, I don't know, my whole life. So I've been excited about it from the start. And I think, like, when they first announced that they were going to have a show in the Beauty and the Beast theater, I was like, I'm not really into shows. But now that I've, like, seen it, and I've seen sort of the level of production or the amount of dancers that they have in it, I'm, like, pretty impressed with it. Like, I know it's new. The first night was maybe a little bit rocky, but, like, this is pretty nice. This is the kind of stuff we used to see like 15 years ago, like a new totally novel show debuting, and we're seeing it at Hollywood Studios, so that's, like, super exciting. So that in particular, I think, is something I'm surprised that I'm excited to go see.
Well, that's great. I was excited about this event when they announced it because it has a lot of my favorite IP. It has the Muppets. It has Nightmare Before Christmas. Patrick is also a huge Nightmare Before Christmas stan, so that's great for him. One of the things that Care Bear was like, let's call this what it is that the Osborne Lights weren't free. They were complimentary with your paid admission. So that's it. I get that. That's fair. Keep me honest. But again, it was included with your day ticket and not something that you had to pay extra for. One thing I do appreciate about this one is it starts at 8 o'clock, as opposed to the Magic Kingdom shuts down at 6 o'clock for its parties. This one is an 8 o'clock thing, which makes me feel better for everyone else. Anybody else who's going there can pretty much enjoy most of their day until 8 o'clock, and then at 8:30, everybody else rolls in for this party. Patrick, there's a lot of alcohol at this too. I don't know if you noticed that or not. Is there any that you noticed more than others?
Oh my God, I just saw my guy around. Well, a long time ago, WWNT said there was a bar coming to the Tower of Terror, and it finally happened. Tom has been vindicated, and no, the two drinks at the Tip Top Club look amazing. And honestly, this is going to sound weird coming from me. I think I'm more interested in the non-alcoholic beverage. It sounds really good. It sounds very late fall, early winter festive. Also, I like the
Okay.
purple sparkly. Purple sparkly drink is good with me.
Well, you know what? If that
Purple.
makes you happy, that's what I
Yeah,
want.
man, it does.
We're going to go a little bit extra innings on this so that Desi can talk a little bit about it. But I do want to kind of stress that Jollywood is not sold out. There were only, I think, 12 Jollywood Nights, and there are still 9 as of today. When I looked, there are still 9 nights that are available. I personally was like, I'm freaking out. You know, anybody who had a hotel reservation could go ahead and book early, and so I was like, oh, I got to book early. And then you look at it and you're like, I guess we didn't. But I listened to your point. Maybe people were just like, let's wait and see what this is. So hopefully now that all the bloggers have gotten their teeth into this, they can then go out and say, yeah, this might be something worth my money. Desi, is this worth your money?
Yes. I was at Hollywood Studios last night. I was there just because I was there as a day guest, and I stayed until about 8 p.m. So I stayed long enough to see some of Jollywood Nights, without being able to see all of it. But just seeing all of the decorations and seeing everybody dressed up got me really excited about it. And I know that there were kind of some mixed reviews from the first night, but I feel like this is the first time they've ever done this kind of event at Hollywood Studios. It was the first night. They probably just have some first night kinks to work out, and I'm gonna be buying a ticket. So I'm glad that they're not sold out.
I saw the line for this for the Tower of Terror Club, and I was
It
just
was
like,
crazy.
yeah.
I
I mean, there
line.
was somebody that shot it online that was just like walking down that line, you know, that classic social media thing, walking down the line and seeing it. I'm like, wow, this is nuts. I honestly, again, I'm a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan, so this taking the sing along studio where Frozen lives and doing something like this is kind of awesome, using the Jack puppet and everything. I'm excited to see that. And then maybe Patrick, you and I could go together and hold hands and sing all the Jack Skellington. No. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's move on then to the classic, the original, the OG Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. This is one that I think ebbed and flowed over the years. I mean, it was one of the very first ones, and I think that as people have gone to it and had experiences, there are some that come around from like the next time and go, you know what, it wasn't that good. I think part of the problem is that they sell more tickets than they used to, and it's more crowded than it is. And I think we've talked about this about the holiday or the Halloween party too, is that you kind of have to pick and choose. You can't do all of the foods and all of the meet and greets and all of the shows. You kind of have to pick and choose what you do. When I look at this, though, there is something else that's happening in the Magic Kingdom, and I want to get everybody's opinion on not just the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas, but also the Magic Kingdom and the decorations. Is that the Jingle Cruise is returned for another year to Magic Kingdom, and I love the fact that this is an overlay that you can experience during the day, just like Haunted Mansion Holiday or Small World Holiday out in California. It's something that you can enjoy if you're a day guest or if you're there for the Christmas party. But the Christmas party is a little more holly jolly. And then one of the other things that came up this year was the Frozen Holiday Surprise Show. I know that Mr. Corliss was giving a not so happy review about this one because they're not actually putting lights on the castle anymore. They're just doing some top-notch projections. And since Patrick, you and Allison are both nodding your heads hard on this one, I'm gonna start with you, and we'll go up to her on that one. What are your thoughts?
Why are there not lights on the castle? We started to tear down Thanksgiving. We don't even do anything for Thanksgiving. We started to tear down Halloween before Halloween was over. We also started Halloween, I think, in April. And then the Christmas stuff was coming while Halloween was still going on. Something that never, ever used to happen in the Disney parks. Like, it was an overnight transformation, and it was magical and glorious. Put lights on the castle. The projections does not do the same. We need to get out of this idea that everything needs to be so technologically advanced. We're going to talk a little bit later on about the Treehouse, and it's back to basics. And people are, in the wrestling world, we use the term pop. They pop for it. Let's go. There needs to be lights up there, but I'm also glad that Elsa is no longer committing a war crime and invading a sovereign kingdom and putting lights on their castle without their consent.
Wow. Allison.
See, I'm fine with it. As long as I get my icicle lights, I don't care. I don't need an IP to be integrated with it, but like the icicle lights are like that's the reason you go. It makes it charming, and the photo op, like the photos just don't look as good with the projections. And you would think with the Disney wanting people to post stuff on social media, so everyone gets FOMO and then buys tickets to this party, so it gets even more crowded, that they would want to like have that like glimmering special thing, and they just don't have it. And it's something that I'm going to miss. And it's like, why go to this party anyway? I'm still going this year, but it's very sad.
Okay. And Desi?
Um, I I'm I miss the lights, yes, but I also kind of understand why they're not there. So I'm not as much of a hater of the projections. I feel like the lights being there would probably mess with the way things are projected onto the screen for Happily Ever After, which I'm so happy is back. So I'm okay with it. I'm sorry. I know Allison and Patrick are very upset.
I didn't even
Well,
consider that. That's actually a very relevant point, Desi.
well, and don't worry, Enchantment is right around the corner too. So Desi, you'll be able to enjoy that again.
No,
Let's not
nobody
pretend
wants
like
that.
let's not pretend like you don't hate anything, because you do hate that one, right?
Yeah.
I'm just want to put that out there too. And then Allison, if you're going, there's a lot of merch that you can grab. So make sure to check that out on our website. Lots of merch.
Wait, scroll back up for a quick second. There was an amazing picture. That's somebody getting caught in our picture and being really unhappy about it. I'm really sorry, person.
Aw.
I get it. Like,
Poor
just
woman.
looking back and seeing the camera.
Is that
Sorry,
you,
I did it at a moment of levity.
WDWNT? Yeah,
Or
exactly.
this.
That's my expression
Probably.
every time I'm in the Emporium. This is too much.
So let's talk about the around the world and basically the rest of Disney World. One of the things that I love so much is the Merry Menagerie that has returned to Disney's Animal Kingdom. That's a favorite. We don't have Festival of the Holidays yet because the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot has not had its 9-month run yet. So as soon as that finishes, we'll have the Festival of the Holidays on Thanksgiving, and then
I mean, that's more
we'll
appropriate.
have something to
at least,
report
right?
about. Yeah, exactly, right? No, you're right. It is appropriate, but I feel like I want my Christmas now. We need a little Christmas right this very minute, Patrick. But here's what I wanna talk about is the stuff around the world includes these gingerbread displays that they have at the deluxe hotels, and so I think these are kind of worth the trip. A lot of times, I think that if you're on your vacation and you're on a timetable, you don't really have time to go and visit the deluxe resorts and see the stuff that they have. But I think at Christmas, it is worth it. So what I wanted to ask as our poll of the week is what's your favorite Walt Disney World resort for the holidays? So if there's one that you like always have to go visit, not even if you stay there, but you know that they're going to have the one thing that you're going to want to see, whether it's the contemporary with their display or the carousel that they just put up at over at the Beach Club, I believe, and then of course the gingerbread house that they build at Grand Floridian. So let us know, hashtag or pound 1 through 9. Number 9 would be something else. So these are all the deluxe resorts. This is only the Florida ones, but definitely let us know what you guys think, and we will follow along with that. So with that said, there's a lot of other stuff that happens too. Not only the stuff with Animal Kingdom, and not only the stuff with that's coming to Epcot, but also we've got Disney Springs. And Patrick, you and I talked about there was a drone show once upon a time, which was great. I loved that. But they have the Christmas tree trail. I don't know how you feel about it. They used to put the Christmas trees over by what used to be the bus loop, and they used to make you walk through what looked like Home Depot walls to get around through there. And I kind of liked that they had them all corralled, but now the new Christmas tree stroll is all around Disney Springs. Which way do you prefer, Patrick?
I don't know. It's hard to see without having been in there. I love the Christmas tree stroll. I like that Douglas fir is back. I like that they do stuff at Springs because it's a value add, right? It's a Christmas experience that you don't have to pay a hard ticket event for, and it's enjoyable. We actually had a tree. I was really proud when we had a tree on the stroll, and I hope we do again.
Gotcha. Allison?
Okay, so my favorite is not even on here, and it's not even something Disney does. It's going to Fort Wilderness and seeing what all of the guests do to their cabins and their campsites because it's like so over the top. I can't believe people come on vacation for like 3 or 4 days and bring all this stuff with them. And it can get a little bit hard to get in there. So, like, do yourself a favor, book Hoop Dee Doo, go see it. It's an amazing show, or take the boat over from Contemporary or Magic Kingdom and get yourself over to Fort Wilderness and see what the people who stay there are doing because it is completely outrageous, leaps and bounds beyond what a lot of Disney hotels do, even the deluxe ones.
And Desi?
I'm gonna be basic. I I'm not a big Grand Floridian fan. I think that it's overrated. It's, kind of boring compared to like the Polynesian or Animal Kingdom Lodge. But at Christmas time is the one exception, I think. They go all out. They have such a gorgeous tree. The gingerbread house that people can actually go inside. I mean, you can't, but like there are people working in there that will sell you things, which is still it's still a fun experience to go there and buy a gingerbread shingle. It's something I enjoy doing every year. I'm still, not a huge Grand Floridian fan, but at Christmas time, that's the one time they do it right with the theming and everything. Yay,
Okay.
Christmas.
Yeah.
I will say though that Santa was meeting at Hollywood Studios yesterday, and I asked my kids if they wanted to meet him, and they're like, "No, it's Santa's at the North Pole. He's not here." They didn't believe me that he was there.
So your kid said,
Yeah.
got it.
Hashtag not their Santa. Their Santa's in the North
Oh, there
Pole.
it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, the poll had to reset, but I think we're good now. So if you guys have already voted, please vote again and let us know which one you want because the contemporary is cool. But I have a favorite, and I haven't mentioned. Well, let me just tell you my favorite's Wilderness Lodge. I absolutely love the Wilderness Lodge at Christmas because when you walk in there and you see that huge fireplace and the big tree, and then they've set up recently the new gingerbread display there. It feels like I don't know. It just feels like a hug. It feels like a warm hug.
It smells like a
So
hug too. Like the smell is unparalleled in there for the Christmas season.
yeah, a lot of people saying, or maybe not a lot of people, but it looks like Grand Floridian is winning. So again, we'll leave this poll up for a little while. Let us know what you think. Which is your must do when it comes to visiting the resorts around the holidays? I'm moving on to Disneyland, and I know that most of the folks on here are not Disneyland super fans. Most of you guys are East Coast, and I appreciate that. But the happiest place on earth also is a great place to be for Christmas. I love the decorations that they have there. I think they do an amazing job, and so I wanted to talk about Disneyland a little bit, but really most of the actions happen in Disney California. So Adventure for Festival Holidays. So we'll talk about that in a second. But at Disneyland, they've started doing all of their decorations, and I got to see a few of them last week. So I'm pretty excited about what they do. But it's a lot more consolidated because they don't have 20 some resorts to do. They have three, and they don't have as big an area as Disney Springs, but snow is coming back. That's a fun thing. And then they're also going to have, just the regular Haunted Mansion holiday, like I mentioned, and It's a Small World holiday. And those to me are so amazing. They're almost worth the trip. And Patrick, I know you went out there last year and not during the holidays, but do either of these attraction overlays make you want to go back for them or not really?
Desperately, I want to go back for those. We talked briefly about Jingle Cruise. By the way, Jingle Cruise is awesome. We talk a lot on this show about how we make Walt Disney, not we, the powers that be make Walt Disney World for one-time visits. And I think they're learning that that's not where their bread's buttered. Why are we not doing more seasonal overlays? Do you know what that actually does? It encourages people to come back to see the original version of the attraction. Like, oh, I only saw It's a Small World holiday. Maybe I got to go back to Walt Disney World to see their regular It's a Small World. That's a terrible idea. Our Small World's trash. But I want to see Haunted Mansion Holiday so badly. It's just, I don't even like it. Rob's reference, I don't like The Nightmare Before Christmas, but they've done such an amazing job with this attraction. I really want to experience it.
I'm gonna keep fighting you on that, man. At some point, I'm gonna
No,
win you
you're not
over.
winning that. It's the fans are too. It's the fans. The product can never be as good as the fans are trying to tell me.
But it is. Anyway, the foods as well. I mean, just looking at all these foods, and again, I know Desi, you're all about the getting the good food pick. The foods just are beautiful, and as a matter of fact, if you guys haven't watched it yet, behind the attraction this season talks about foods and how they have a food lab, and that actually they all consider when they're taking into account what these foods look like, that people have cameras and they want to take pictures of their foods. So I don't know if there's anything. Is there anything on here that actually looks good to you, Desi, or on the Disney World list?
I want those alien cookies. Those were adorable. All of that looks good. I want all of it. Why can't we have it here at Walt Disney World? Bring it over. Yes, please, please. Everything. Well, maybe not that burger.
Or the whack honey glazed turkey leg.
The turkey sandwich. Yeah, you can keep that one. But everything else, all of
that
the
cake
desserts.
right there. That's what I want. That green and
Need
red
it.
cake.
Need it all.
Well, and we've talked a little bit about this before, specifically Patrick and I, about Disney, like the food and wine festivals at Disneyland versus Disney World. I know, Patrick, you haven't been to the one in California, but there was such amazing, like, I don't know, they swing for the fences out there. And I think sometimes it's a hit, and sometimes we're like, what were you thinking? But Disney's California Adventure does the Festival of the Holidays and has had some interesting things this time around, including an empanada that's basically like a Thanksgiving dinner and an empanada. What?
Yeah.
Why didn't that exist? Like, I mean, it's like Hot Pocket to the next level is what I'm thinking. I mean, again, I don't know if you looked at any of the food out there or if you think it looks awesome.
Can we stop pretending that Disneyland has like an exclusivity on churros? Can we get some better churros in Walt Disney World? Every time I see a churro on one of our news reports for Disneyland, I am insanely jealous. Better churros for Disney World. Come on, Bob.
Is that the mantra? Better churros for Disney World? Again,
that's the 2024 campaign promise. Yeah.
That Behind the Attraction season 2 again talks about churros and how like they weren't introduced to Disneyland until like the 80s, which is shocking to me because it feels like they've always lived there. So again, kind of a cool thing to see. But looking at some of the foods that they have at this thing, like some of it I'm looking at and I'm like, I don't think I would buy this. I don't think I would go and grab a honey glazed turkey leg or something that looks like, or I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's like deconstructed comfort foods. But they do have merch. So, that's a good thing. They've got lots of festival holiday merch. Honestly, I think that,
oh, that's good right there.
Right? It just hits. Yeah, I think their festival of holidays is honestly a little bit more inspired than the one at Epcot, honestly, because again, the foods I think are a little bit more original, and also it feels like it changes so much from year to year. And the merch. What were you going to say, Desi?
You are forgetting a holiday with some great merchandise. Let's not forget about Life Day. We need more Life Day merch. I think I said this last year, and look what's here, as well as you can also purchase Chewbacca's robe now. So yeah, let's go all in on Life Day. I asked a cast member if they had Life Day photos available yet, and he said no, not yet, but that he thought that they were for Jollywood Nights. So that alone is a reason for me to buy a ticket to Jollywood.
Okay. Whoop, that's not what I wanted to do at all.
What?
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's fine. Yeah. No, Life Day is the 17th and Mickey's birthday is the 18th, I believe. So big holidays coming up. I hope to see you in your red robe in Hollywood Studios on the 17th. Is that going to happen?
Wait and see, Rob. Wait and see.
Yeah.
Teasers for in-park appearances from WWNT staff. What a world we live in.
Yeah. Going back to that poll, it is again, it's like a runaway train with the Grand Floridian. Everybody is kind of voting Grand Floridian, and again, it's really cool being able to see that oversized gingerbread house. It's different every year. They construct it in the middle of the lobby, which I think is one of the reasons they had to probably do a timeout on all this construction they were doing, because you can't mess up the gingerbread house, and it's worth a trip over there. It's right off the monorail to go see it, and then also buy some gingerbread from the gingerbread house. It should be a holiday
That
tradition,
gingerbread is unlike any gingerbread you've had in your life. Like, you need to eat it. Also, can we please, if we're not going to get the orchestra back forever, can we just get it for the holidays? Throw us a bone.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'll make that happen.
Good, thank you.
Yeah. Let's talk about plastics. I have a little poll that I do with the panel ahead of time, and I say, what things do you want to talk about? And Allison's response to this was, "Good Lord." I'm guessing she didn't mean she wanted to talk about it. So
No. I mean, I can, and how this Donald tree looks like they just painted the candy corn one. Again, I can't. So it's so infuriating.
I was this close to buying that yesterday. What's going
I'm
on?
sorry. I know I offend people.
I was this close to buying it yesterday, and I wound up not buying it just because I was like, it looks too much like the candy corn.
If they're
Yeah,
going
but
to do this,
but that's
give
why you
me
need to get it, because
years.
it'll be part of a set. You're looking at it all
Rob,
wrong,
I
lady.
I hope we remain friends forever. And, when unfortunately eventually you shuffle off this mortal coil, I can hang out with your children as they decide what to do with your truckload of plastic. So what I was saying is, like, if the changes are going to be so subtle and so slight every year, can we at least date them? Can we get like a 2023 somewhere? Because they just look all the same all the time. That's pretty cool. See, you do that, and then I
They
get
do that.
suckered.
They do that in Mardi Gras in New Orleans. Like the throws are often dated, so you can have things like when you
Yeah.
catch them, they'll have like the thing that's from that particular crew dated for the year, and they're collectible, and so like the koozie or whatever, what year you caught it at what parade. And Disney can't do this. Come on.
I'm actually glad that they don't, because I like it to be more evergreen so that I can bring it whenever and not feel like,
So you
oh,
can get free popcorn?
I'm not bringing a 2019 popcorn bucket into the parks and still asking for my refill.
Oh, have
Whoa,
no
whoa,
shame.
whoa,
I
whoa.
got those like Caribbean beach like soda refills for like 15 years.
Whoa. Back up a second. What I'm hearing you say is you put popcorn in the popcorn bucket, Desi? No.
Oh, Robert.
No. No, you didn't.
And- And I put iced tea in the sippers.
Son of a nutcracker. We're gonna send popcorn services over to your house to make sure that every one of your popcorn buckets is doing okay. But I mean, to your point though, like this one right here, this is the new it's the reindeer sipper that's coming back to
That's
Disneyland
creepy.
Park, which what? This is
I don't like
classic.
it.
I love this from the parade. So cute. I love this one. He's so cute. But they're re-releasing this one this year, and I don't think there are any changes to this one. I don't think this is a repaint or that there's a different band or different strap. I think it's legitimately the same one, which I love when they do that. That means I don't have to buy it again or consider buying it again. Now, I know the word "have to" or the phrase "have to" isn't really a legitimate thing, but there were so many different popcorn buckets, tumblers, straw clips.
favorite
Is that what
one-
they are?
My favorite one is the musical one, because I thought that was really innovative. Gave me some Tokyo vibes. And they just keep painting it a different color and bringing it back. And poor Allie has to go and find these things. Oh, man.
But I will say though, this is last year's. I don't have the gold one from this year, but this is last year's. But the artwork is different, I believe, on the inside, and then also it's gold this year. So I think that one again is different enough that I might be stuck having to get that one. So here's the gold one from this year. But I love this one because
completely different, Rob. Yeah.
I saw it at Epcot yesterday too.
But I mean, the artwork is different. Yes, the shell is the same,
Is the
but just
artwork
gold
different? All
instead.
right, I didn't pay enough
Yeah,
attention.
yeah, the artwork's different. But the artwork's different. I don't know if the song is different. I didn't dig that deep into that one to find out because obviously I'm going to buy it anyway. So I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Clearly.
Um, but it also is really more convenient to actually put popcorn in if that's the thing you want to do with a popcorn bucket because it's actually a bucket. So I mean, that's kind of and it can be a nice Christmas thing. So could this though. This fella. This one is exactly the same popcorn bucket, and in classic Disney style, they put some snow and a Disney or a Santa hat on top of Mater, and made me want it all over again. So I have the Mater popcorn bucket. If it's any consolation to anybody else, I can't get into the idea of a straw clip.
No, they're dumb.
No.
Yeah, that's one that I'm like, I don't know. I'd never
Glow
buy
cubes
one of
though.
those.
Glow cubes. Oh
Oh
man,
my
those are
goodness.
so cool. Oh god, they're so cool.
My
Ah,
my kids are such suckers for glow cubes.
I love
They
them so
would
much.
eat every single one of these.
I am not a drinker, but I will get a drink, and I have famously gotten the thing with a glow cube in it because I'm a child. So like it's like, well, what do you want to drink? I don't know. What has a glow cube in it? I'll take that one. So,
Same.
I just like a little bit of flair with my drink. That's fine. And then
My
the
husband
tumblers,
was just complaining about our glow cube collection. Like, why do we need 7 different glow cubes? I'm like,
he
why
wasn't
would we
complaining
need
that it
7
wasn't large
different
enough.
glow cubes?
He wasn't saying why don't we have more?
Right?
No, that's weird. That is weird. I don't know. You might want to check your prenup and see if this is a relationship that's going to last. Right here is, but the tumblers are the new thing, and this one makes sense to me though because they're stainless steel tumblers. You can actually put, I don't know, water in it and take it into the parks. So that's a kind of a cool thing, and maybe more useful. Maybe more useful than this, but probably not. Probably.
I thought you were
I
gonna
mean,
pull out the new tumbler. I'm like, it came out 2 days ago. How did you get it already?
yeah, I don't know. This guy, as soon as I saw this one, I was like, I have to have that, and I do, and I love it, and he's great. So anyway, we'll move on from that so that Allison's eyes don't roll all the way around through her head, and let's talk a little bit about Wish. So Wish is a new movie from Disney. I don't know if you've heard about it or not. It's a thing. And Wish, they've started to do things in the parks, which is kind of fun. I love it when there's synergy between the parks and, maybe it's too much when they do it. I don't know, but I love when there's synergy. The thing that I don't understand about this though is that this movie doesn't come out until November 22nd, but you can already meet Asha in the parks. Like, again, Allison, you have a daughter. Would she be excited to go meet a character from a movie that she hasn't seen yet?
Well, yeah, she likes to meet everybody. So, like the security guard at the museum today and like whatever, she just likes to talk to people. And especially if it's like a pretty looking human Barbie doll, like if she's going to be excited to talk to her, but it's not going to mean anything to her. Like when she meets other princesses that she's seen in the movies or at least has some passing familiarity with it. So yeah, this was my question about this is like, do we normally do this before the movie comes out? I sort of understood it. I think they did the meet and greet with Ariel from the live action before the movie, but that was like, but it's not a brand new character or brand new movie so this is like, this seems premature. But I can't wait for the movie because there's been no kids movies out since the Paw Patrol movie, and really always looking for things to kill time on the weekends. So looking forward to this actually debuting, and then when we're in the parks next, I'm sure she'll enjoy the meet and greet. But
Trolls
right
band
now,
together.
Yeah. Well, you know what else she might enjoy when you guys go
boy.
into the parks is that they have a Wish popcorn bucket and matching sipper. So, I mean, she can have her popcorn and her sipper and enjoy the magic of Wish.
no.
What?
Let's hope,
No.
let's hope that's not what she picks. She's
You
allowed
would-
to
I
pick
was-
one thing per day, provided she's well behaved, and she usually picks something that's like, I feel like I'm getting away with murder. She's like, I want this keychain. Great, I'm getting the keychain.
That's the best.
But there's no world in which she's getting both of those things in one day.
Well,
at the park.
Well, don't worry, because there's also more merch coming too, or more merch out there, so she can get the doll.
Oh,
She can get the
that's
doll
CC right
set.
It's a
there.
weird looking doll.
Yeah. Look at there. You got the sidekicks, the
Mhm.
comic relief sidekicks, and the little star. You got to get that one. So
Mhm.
there's lots of opportunities for you to invest in Wish. That'll be a lot of fun for you, I think. But the other thing that I think is kind of cool that they do now is that the Epcot Beacon Show. They did one for Journey of Water when that first opened. Now they've got this Epcot Beacon Show coming on the 22nd, which is the day that the movie comes out, for Spaceship Earth, which is going to be a light show time to one of the songs, and it says debuting on the 22nd until we're not sure. It's got like until question mark. So, I mean that's kind of cool. And then also the meet and greet while it's out at while Asha is out in at Disney World, Disneyland, it's not happening until November 22nd. So it's just really weird to me that it would happen this early at Disney World, especially when there's so much else going on at Disney World, unless they were looking for some reason, Patrick, to get people to Epcot, because Epcot's really the only one that's not celebrating the holidays yet. Is that a possibility? Or
I don't know. I think this is one of the best things they've done in years. Is all the Epcot Spaceship Earth shows. They're awesome. Uh, yeah, I find the whole Wish thing a little premature. We'll see how
yeah.
it turns out.
Okay, if you say so. Desi, are your kids into Wish or no? Because it looks is not their
It
scene.
look
If they're not into
it
dancing,
looks
maybe they're not into
probably
Wish.
it looks probably too girly for them. We walked by the sneak preview yesterday. They had no interest in going in and seeing it. They were just like,
Yeah,
"We need to get
yeah,
to Toy Story Land. Just run right past this."
yeah.
Need
That
to.
was
I like their style.
that was the other thing. Is that yeah, that there is a preview. Do you guys watch the previews when they have a preview for one of these movies? Like my son, like avoids them like the plague because he's like, why do I need to see a preview of a movie I'm going to see? So when there's a preview of Guardians or there's a preview of something else that Walt Disney presents, he avoids them. Do you guys go see them? I mean, you already see the trailers. Is it worth it to go see the
I
Allison?
have
I've not
seen
been in there
them.
since One Man's Dream. Like, unless it's pouring rain outside, or like
Or
it's,
hot.
yeah, or you're just like, I was in Toy Story Land on a line with no shade for 3 hours. I need to immediately go in somewhere and calm down. Like, otherwise, it's like, why waste this time at a theme park to go in there?
Yeah.
I'm with your boys. I'm not sure it was just the character didn't mean anything. It's like, let's go do rides.
Yep. Before we go any further, we have some super chats, and thank you guys for being in the chat. We are looking at the chat. Jungle Cruiser, Robin Desi, I bought all of the buckets and sippers, used mobile order from Tomorrowland, got fries and a drink. And thank you, Jungle Cruiser. I know Jungle Cruiser and Desi and I all share the same affinity/problem for popcorn buckets and sippers. So, you know what? It's like a support group, but we're not supporting each other in any way other than to say, did you get it? You should get it. It's awesome. So if that's support,
It is
then
actually quite the opposite of a support group.
yeah,
It is.
We're
It is an
supporting.
enablement group.
yeah, we've been formed an enabler group.
We're supporting
Uh,
the addiction.
and then also just because you got to hit it again. Jungle Cruiser again with the super chat says the new 10 plays Jingle Bells. So there you
What
go.
did the old
So you
10
gotta have
say?
them both. You gotta have them both. There's no question, Allison. Get them both. Get them for your daughter. She can wear them around her neck when she's walking through the parks. It'll be great. So yeah. Anyway, that's that's Wish. That's the plastics. Let's talk about the new meet and greets because there are a couple different things with the meet and greets that have changed. One is that Kevin, she is now in Dino Land.
Yeah, I saw
I
her
think.
there just 2 weeks ago.
Did you? So I mean, does it bother you that she's in Dino Land? I mean, is she part of the Dino Bash? Is that what we're thinking?
I think, look, first of all, the colors of Kevin actually fit in seamlessly in Dino Land USA. And didn't dinosaurs evolve from birds? It's fine. It was something to look at. We were online for Triceratops spin, and because my daughter loves that. And we saw Kevin, and she got really, really excited. So it's fine. It's something to look at when you're standing in line, and something to pull your attention as you're walking from one thing to the other. I don't care where Kevin is. Kevin can go anywhere. in Animal Kingdom, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. She's all right. She's all right. All right. So then there have been some changes in backdrops, this is interesting to me. They put Frozone in Municiberg, which is back what used to be Pixar Place, and has his own winter backdrop. But like, isn't that just a backdrop for Frozone? Because doesn't he bring winter with him wherever he goes? I feel like. So that doesn't seem to me to be something that has to be just a winter thing. And then out in California, Baymax, this meet and greet space, they've added things, which I find odd that they were like, okay, we're not done yet. Let's add Go-Go's, spare wheels in the recycle bin, and let's put up a couple more posters. It seems like either that stuff wasn't ready by the time they were doing the meet and greet, or somebody went, it needs something. I don't know what, but it needs something. And so that was something that happened. And then finally, this is the part that Patrick loves, is that out in Disneyland, they can actually have Marvel superheroes to meet and greet. And so the Marvels, which Captain Rambo and Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel were all out together, meeting and greeting people out in California. So Patrick, thoughts, meet and greets?
I'm wondering if they may be okay. I wonder if they're covered under the Universal agreement. I can't think of anything Captain Marvel there, and I don't think their issues would be old enough to be covered under the agreement. It's been forever since I put my eyes on it. But I think it's like they have to have appeared in books up to a certain year, or have appeared first in characters that are in Islands of Adventure. Try harder. Like, look for loopholes. Pay those lawyers are doing stuff. Sorry, Alex. Like, like make them do things to do more gooder. Get me more characters. Why do I get so mad?
Do more.
They have
gooder.
So much money. Pay the money. Figure it out. Like
there's contracts.
So,
we should
but
put that on a later topic.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. But my son was looking at it as like, Monica is the only one that looks like she's supposed to look. And I've joked about this before with Star-Lord, the Star-Lord Steve situation, where it never, ever looks like Star-Lord. And the princes are all a little bit off. But yeah, I think that Monica Rambeau is really well done. Yeah, spot on. And that's awesome to see. But, they did try the Doctor Strange thing at Disney World once. Yeah. They were like kind of like testing Doctor Strange, and they didn't use the word Marvel, and they didn't put it in the guide. You would just happen upon it, or you knew about it if you listened, to us. You would know that Doctor Strange was at Hollywood Studios. So I think it makes it harder if your name is Captain Marvel to get away with something.
Which originally was a DC character. Fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shazam's original name, which he can't say anymore. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think all of this looks very cool. All these meet and greets look very cool. But let's talk about the topic. And I think, Allison, maybe this was the topic that you were going to be talking about. Is this is actually disgusting, but I felt like when this came out, I was like, well, boy, we're going to have to talk about this. Is guests still pooping in queues from Avatar, Flight of Passage, Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, and Indiana Jones Adventure. So apparently the thing is, in these longer lines, people would rather humiliate themselves and go to the bathroom without a bathroom than they would to actually leave the line, do what they need to do, and come back. So let's start with you, Allison. I feel like you have thoughts.
Yeah. So, this is not the legal perspective one. This is more just like, Disney sort of has set them up for this. Really, people are obviously animals, and they have created these situations where lines are 3 or 4 hours long at times for these rides. And 3 of us on this panel have very small children and know when there's an emergency, you're rushing your kid out. I don't know who's doing this, but it seems like the most vile form of civil disobedience against the Disney's long lines, which, I support fighting that. by going to guest relations and complaining. Like, this would take a third of my day to do this one thing. What are we going to do about this? But not defecating in lines where somebody else has to clean this up and other people have to be there. It's just, it's so horrendous and gross and awful. And yeah, but please, if you're upset about the lines, complain. Proper channels.
Desi, did you want to talk about this one? I can't remember.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably. Well, no, how tall you have to be to ride Flight of Passage? So never mind. I was gonna say maybe it was a toddler who just couldn't hold it. But no, by the time you're tall enough to ride Flight of Passage, because my kids, I think, are still like a foot short to ride Flight of Passage. So you've got to be like 7 or 8 by the time you can ride Flight of Passage. You should be able to hold it in by then. I was about to give them the benefit of the doubt until I thought about this. Because, like, I understand that I have small kids. They, they are fully potty trained, but there have been times where they've had an accident at Disney World. I bring, pull-ups just in case. I bring extra shorts just in case. But by the time you're old enough to get out of line and come back. There's no excuse for this. That's disgusting.
Patrick?
I didn't even think of the height thing. Now that's even worse. I mean, listen, I've had close calls with number 1, but I'm not messing around with number 2. Like, that's a day ruiner for you and several people. I don't think the solution is bathrooms in the middle of queues. I do think the solution is to have cast members in these lines, and you can say, hey, I need to run and use the bathroom. Maybe get like a little pass, a little card, and let you get past. Because we've seen what happens when people try to get past other people in queues. We've had several physical altercations. So there does need to be a solution, and the solution is not pooping in a queue. What's wrong with you? How could you do that? I would have so much anxiety. I have trouble using the bathroom in the park regularly. Like, what if somebody's going to knock on the door? It's stressful. Wait till I get back to my hotel room like a normal human being. Poops in the parks.
Yeah. Monsters. I mean, you bring up a great point. Like, just the act of it, of if you're that close to other people and you're like, you know what I'm going to do right now? Turn your eyes if you want to, watch if you want to. I don't care, but this is happening. Like, really? Like, so there was a time my son and daughter
like
and I
bridesmaids. Sorry.
Right?
Like, you poop your pants. Man. Things happen. Like, find somebody to get out of line. Like, but to drop trowel? And also, that's a decent exposure.
Or what if they didn't drop trowel and it's just like it overflowed onto the floor?
Oh, no.
What's worse? I don't know.
That's all of this is horrible.
Do we have commercials today?
No, we're gonna play through today, buddy. We're gonna play through today. But let me just finish this conversation by saying I saw that my son and daughter and I were in line at Splash Mountain. It was as Splash Mountain was having its last days at in Florida, and there was a guy in front of us, and he was trying to get in touch with his wife because they were in line and they were pretty committed to the line at that point. And he couldn't. She was on the other side of the park, and he's like, he's got to go to the bathroom. And I'm thinking at that point, I would have just bounced. I would have taken the kid and gone to the bathroom. Like, take him to the bathroom. Not this guy. He picks him up, puts him into the bushes, and looks around at both the front and back. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. And he just lets the kid pee in the bushes, which, again, to your point, like, number one, but it was just, there was no other choice for him. The other choice was there are bathrooms 10 yards away from us.
Yeah.
They're literally, dude, I will save your place in line. But he was already committed to that whole thing, and it was just like,
I get in line for Buzz Lightyear when one of my sons is like, I gotta go potty and I gotta go right now. Even if we are close to the front after waiting 40 minutes, no, I'm taking him to the bathroom, and my husband is waiting there until we get back. Like,
Daniel Tiger said it best. If you have to go potty, stop and go right away.
Daniel Tiger, classic. All right, so let's move on to maintenance. Let's talk about maintenance a little bit because we've talked about maintenance in the past. The famous Donald Duck and Don DeSta maintenance, the T-shirt we made. There are some good things happening, and I get that sometimes attractions need to go down or you need to do things. They're making some adjustments at Disneyland to the shrine there, and they've made this look like they've covered it up with walls, but they've made it look like there's actually nothing wrong here, which is perfect. Like, if you've got to make adjustments, do that so you don't ruin somebody's experience. At Muppet Vision, we had shown these horrible seats that are just like, did I actually sit in one of those? Lord. But now they look like they're just like right off the assembly line, like Chef's Kiss. They all look fantastic. That's good. Like, good for you. And then this show scene at Disney World, not Disneyland, but Disney World, they have this in-show scene with It's a Small World, where you can see the difference between how it looked then and how it looked now. So again, great things happening there. They're apparently making the world's best facade changes to the Columbia Harbor House because there's these huge walls around it. That's all great. However, there have been a couple other problems, including the fact that the Disney World monorail apparently had a blowout on one of the machines, one of the monorails that has been recently refurbished. I mean, we know these things are old, but they're bringing them in, they're refurbishing them, they're putting new wall carpet on the ends, and everything's great, new uniforms, whatever. But that's gotta ruin your vacation if you're sitting in a monorail for an hour because it blew a tire. I don't know how you don't do maintenance.
You get a bowl.
Yes. Yeah, you should get a free bowl. Exactly. And the other thing was Grandpa's hand fell off in the Carousel of Progress. I feel like if one of your animatronics is missing a hand, that may mean 101. That may be enough for you to go ahead and take that attraction down for a little while. But there was a TikTok video of the hand still sitting there. And then also, I wanted to bring up the fact that Toontown, which again, I know you guys have talked about, you probably haven't seen the new Toontown, but they spent a year, they shut down Toontown, they spent a year redoing it. They opened it up again in, I think, April of this past year, and already there's been nothing but construction walls up to fix things over and over again. Patrick, any of this stuff, please talk to me. What's going on?
Well, the monorails have needed to be fully replaced for a couple decades. So there's that. Even if it just came back from refurb, it doesn't matter. It needs to be completely refreshed. Disneyland does a much better job with maintenance, as we've talked about several times, and I'm cool with them. All right, so this isn't looking right. We want to plus this. Even with the Baymax story you talked about before, that's what we're supposed to be doing. We should be like, it looks a little drab here. Let's get a poster together. Let's throw a tire in a recycling bin for story reasons, I'm sure. And if you need to continue with the attraction, like you said, make it look like nothing's wrong. What are they doing with Columbia Harbor House?
I don't know, man. I think they're building a brand new Columbia Harbor House. Again, I have suggested it would be great to maybe make it a Haunted Mansion restaurant. And I don't think anybody thinks that needs to happen. But, that's just one of those things that I look at and go, hey, they should probably do that. But I don't know. They're refinishing it to its original 1776 luster. I don't know. Allison, do you have any issues with any of this stuff? Or, I mean, I know that Disney World and Disneyland are huge places, and so there's a lot of things to keep up with. But don't you think, like, the main source of transportation that they have there at Disney World, they should put a little bit more emphasis on maybe having Sam check the tires just one more time before they roll it out on the tracks?
Yeah. No, it's like, how did this even get a flat tire? It's not on the road. Like, it's not like there's glass or broken bottles or something on the monorail track. So like, that's just got to be from neglect. And yeah, they should be really careful, not just because it's the main form of transportation, but it's really hard to evac people from up there. So this is like a big undertaking, and you've really ruined these people's like whole day. And it's just really bad show.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the other thing is, though, when they take attractions and they refurbish them, I always say it's always somebody's first time and maybe only time at Disney World. I mean, we are spoiled or or lucky that we get to go as much as we do and see it in all its ways and shapes and forms. But I always have joked that when you see that sign that says this area being refurbished for your future enjoyment, most likely it's someone else's future enjoyment and not yours it's being refurbished for. And I get, again, there's a lot of stuff they need to take care of, but Desi, any thoughts before we move on from this topic?
I'm just glad that the Muppets got new seats. I'm glad that It's a Small World is clean again, but I wish that we didn't have to shame them before things like that happened.
Yeah, I think it was Ronald maybe that was talking in the chat and said whenever WDWNT talks about something, they end up starting to try to get it fixed. We're paying too much for Genie Plus and the monorails break. Can we? Does that mean we'll get that fixed? I don't know. That's just a thought. Let's move on real quick to Fantasmic is opening back up. Fantasmic. So if you guys aren't familiar with the story, Fantasmic in Disneyland caught the dragon Murphy. They call it Murphy because of Murphy's Law that it continually breaks anyway. Well, it just decided to burst into flames, and so they had to shut down that show. And then they were going to reopen it in, I think, September, and that didn't work, and now they're going to reopen it. They said spring of next year. Well, we have a date now, and it's going to be May 24th. They're going to open this up next year, which I'm excited about because it is I love the seating and also some of the new show scenes in the new one, or the changes to the one in Florida. But the one in California is, it really gets me. It's so good with the pirate scene coming by, and then the dragon was kind of amazing. Apparently, when it returns, though, it will have a different kind of a fight with Maleficent and with Mickey. So we're not going to necessarily see the dragon come back anytime soon. They didn't say that it was not coming back. They just said it won't be coming back anytime soon. And then we also saw, as far as Disneyland Entertainment goes, that Magic Happens will return to Disneyland Park in February of 2024. There was a rumor that it wouldn't be coming back, and I think we actually started the rumor. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think that our blog actually started the rumor that said, wait a minute, it's going away, but it was going away because of the festival, the Christmas parade was starting. So the Christmas parade will be running, but apparently it's going to not come back until February of 2024, and same as World of Color 1, the new World of Color is going to be staying the World of Color 1 that came for the 100 years, but also it's not going to come back until February. So just to update everybody on what's going on there, there's really, I guess, not much to talk about that. But for people in California, the fact that Fantasmic is coming back is huge because it's a huge people leader. Everybody stops and watches around the rivers of America. You don't actually have to you can do a dining package if you want to have like a seat where you get to sit crisscross applesauce in front of the lake. It's not the nice, big, huge arena that we have here, but also you don't have to walk a mile out to it either. So pros and cons, I guess. Let's move on to pass holder perks, because I think, Patrick, you've talked about the fact that you're jealous of a lot of things that Disneyland does. Magic Key is one of those that gets a lot of stuff out in California, but they're actually going to be pass holder perks now for us schmoes over here on the East Coast. And you are now a pass holder again. So have you looked at this list? Are you excited? And do you wish that they would just mail stuff to you rather than making you go to the parks? Just
give me things. Don't make me work for it. Come on. What the heck? Just send it to me. I'm not going to be there for a lot of it. I'm not officially an active annual pass holder until January. So I will activate my pass and be ready to go for all of 2024. And I want all the perks. Give me Zarg nuts and everything else.
Well, yeah, you're not going to want those now because I think that they were probably out of date by the time they hit the parks. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool that they have all these different perks. But the ones on the the ones out in California are the ones that I think are the better ones, the Magic Key ones. The problem I have is you can't buy a Magic Key right now. So what are they doing when they go and say, look at all this cool stuff we're going to do to make this such a great package? Yeah, I see it. It's beautiful. Let me buy one then. Because you can't buy one right now. Desi, I think you've kind of had conversations in the past about the pass holder perks. You're a little closer though. You can go out there and take advantage of these.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why when Patrick said, "Yes, I want you to mail it to me," no, I don't want you to mail it to me because I don't believe you. Because I have never once ever had anything mailed to me. I've never received any magnet. I don't believe you. Just let me go pick it up. But don't make it like I've got to sign an NDA and, like, promise my firstborn child or something to be able to get this magnet. There's too much hoops to go through to get the magnets, but I just want to pick it up. Just let me roll on through, flash my card, and get my magnet.
Well, and I don't think they've even talked about there being a magnet, though, right?
No. I was just
It's
giving that
Rob.
as
It's
an
gonna be a
example.
magnet. We all know it's gonna be a magnet.
I mean, again, if it is, that's great. But all I see is like a slush. You
Yeah.
got that slush going on there.
And I'm not going to buy that slush because it's got the awful Mickey on it. Give me classic
right.
Mickey, and I will buy it.
He is the new representative of the of the annual pass holder program, though. If you look at all of the stuff with annual pass holders on it, it has, look at that Hortensia.
Oh my God,
I mean,
that's
come on,
awful.
that's a deep pull.
Nope,
He's
still don't
everywhere.
want it.
Oh, so you would say
Hashtag
no
not
to a
my
magnet?
Mickey.
You would say no to a magnet that had him on there. You would not.
Well,
Don't
go
lie.
get it and mail it to me. We've solved both of our problems.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I do appreciate when Disney does it. It's just that the Magic Key thing, I don't understand why you would offer it for a program that you can't be a part of. It's just like, hey, here's all this great stuff. It sounds like that's marketing, marketing for buying new. Signing new people up. I don't know. That's just a crazy thing. Let's talk about the Treehouse. By the way, let's start with this. Everything's inspired by now. Have you noticed that? It's a journey of water inspired by Moana, and it's the what? Yeah. What you got?
Continuity issues.
Okay.
There it is.
What?
That's what it is. That's why everything's inspired by it, because that way it doesn't have to be in continuity with some story that it doesn't necessarily need to have continuity, because you deal with people like, well, why is Tamatoa in this attraction, or why is Ariel in this form? So that's why it's inspired by it. It makes sense. So we don't have to deal with stupid continuity stuff. By the way, Galaxy's Edge is now inspired by Star Wars. Give me Rebels characters.
Well, my point in bringing that up was that the Adventureland Treehouse, inspired by the Swiss Family Robinson, is now finally open. I remember when they first announced that this was coming, or we may have even again had the rumor that it was coming, because they shut down Tarzan's Treehouse. This was Swiss Family Robinson. Then they shut it down and made it Tarzan. Now they've shut it down and made it inspired by the Swiss Family Robinson. But it was also supposed to have some sea references in it, and I think there's like a half of a reference in it. So we thought at one point it was going to be a complete sea treehouse. No. It's inspired by, and then wisps of, if we can go ahead and say that, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. The one thing, though, that I kind of love is that there's this ostrich, Jane, that kind of bobs up and down along the way. Are you excited about that, Allison? You seem excited about that.
It's so cute. It's the cutest thing ever. It's like Kevin, but even cuter. And just watching. I know they say it's like sort of an animatronic. It looks like a puppet, which I really hope it's actually a puppet, and that like somebody's doing that underneath there. That just like is so quaint. I actually love everything about this. I love Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse. Tarzan Treehouse didn't speak to me, and although I understood why they would try to retheme it, this is perfect. I feel like they took something that was classic, and then just sort of made it more interesting, gave it more kinetic energy, gave it more color, but kept like the character of it. But the best part of it is obviously this ostrich. It's amazing.
It better be an actual animatronic kind of. I mean, they can do it with Rocket, they could do it with this, but it's just like, it's just this, and then it goes down like this, and then just comes back up.
Please let it be a puppet. Just one guy down there with a puppet.
Little Red is okay. I think this place looks great. I was out there like the day before the Treehouse opened up, and I think we've been looking forward to it opening for a while. I think we've sent somebody every single solitary day since Tarzan closed to just take a look and see when it's going to open. So we've seen every iteration of all of it along the way. So anyway, I just think it was a neat thing to a scavenger hunt over at Fort Wilderness where the Healer family was getting ready for Thanksgiving. And I know that our friend Jake is a huge fan of Bluey, and was like, "Let me in." And he and Tom and a couple other people went over and did the scavenger hunt. And it's a neat idea. Like, we love the scavenger hunts in the parks anyway, like the Easter egg hunts and things like that. So it was really neat to see that that this was something to do in addition to everything else to do over at Fort Wilderness. This Healer family hide and seek, and then if you completed it, you would get this sticker. So there were little signs, and you get the piece of paper, and then there's a sticker. But then the whole thing just ended almost as quickly as it began, and it makes it feel like maybe they weren't supposed to do it, and somebody, a lawyer or something, probably reached out and said, "I heard you guys are doing this. We didn't tell you you have the theme park rights to do this. That's ridiculous." Allison, is that what happened? Oh, I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Mute.
I
Take
never
two,
do that. I'm
and
sorry. Everyone.
action.
Yeah, they almost certainly got a cease and desist and a letter in the mail, and then they immediately ceased. I wonder too if it's like, I'm sure they didn't put this up on the website. This is just like something happening at Fort Wilderness. Probably our website carrying this didn't help Disney being able to do this under the radar. Like, they can't do this kind of thing under the radar at all. I don't know if they were just trying to like nibble around the edges, see what they could get away with, but whatever they are asking for at ABC or whoever owns the rights, Australian Broadcasting Company or whoever owns the rights, give them as much money as they're asking for. Bluey's worth it. It is high art. Everybody loves it. Everybody like wants it. There should be a meet and greet. There should be like some kind of like character dining experience with Louis. There should be a stage show where the kids can dance and see them. And the fact that none of that is there, like, yeah, throw the money. It's worth it.
This actually, though, looks like Bill made this on his printer before he came into work. I mean, the sticker looks official, but the piece of paper itself looks like it was printed. It doesn't go edge to edge. It looks like it was maybe printed.
It's not even made on like Canva.
Yeah, made like looks like it was made on a home printer. So
Print shop deluxe.
It was MSP. How are you the
Yeah.
largest media conglomerate in the world and can't get that right? Like, how do you do that? How are you so spectacularly bad at running this mega corporation that you put something that you didn't have the ability to do? How? How are these people, like, these people drop multi-million-dollar salaries? Like,
But I think to Allison's point, I think it was probably somebody was like, you know what, they probably had the best of intentions. Like, you know what would be cute? I mean, we play Bluey on all of the TVs here at the resort when you check in at the lobby. Wouldn't it be cute if we just did a little scavenger hunt? I could put that together on my own time and do it. And probably it was one of those things where I hope it's not like what you're talking about. I hope it was somebody was like, this would be great. Let me do this for people and let me go that extra mile, as opposed to, you think it was Disney was like, let me go ahead and do this. I mean,
this was probably not run by OGC, like Office of the General Counsel. This probably did not go above like the management of the hotel, and it probably they didn't even think that they need to go to OGC.
Please tell me Josh didn't know. Please tell me that Josh didn't know. That's all I need to know.
Didn't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Scotty doesn't. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm on the same page. Desi, well, before we move on, talk about this. Did you go? Did you want to? Are you sad?
There wasn't enough time. I wanted to go so bad. The moment I heard about this, I was like, let me see. I gotta make plans. I gotta see if I can put aside a weekend to go spend at Fort Wilderness and bring my kids, because there's nothing they love more than Bluey. And to be able to have a Bluey scavenger hunt would blow their minds. And like, it was as soon as I was like, let's do this, we found out it was going away. So I'm so disappointed. I did not tell my kids about it, so they're not disappointed. But
That was going to
they
be my
knew.
ask. If you had told your kids about it and you're like, okay, let's go. Oh, wait a minute, it's gone. Because like, how do you explain that
No.
to a little kid? You can't. And then you've got to make your own version of a Bluey scavenger hunt in your backyard, and buy them each a plush bingo just to make sure that they're happy. And yeah,
Let's
no, you
let's
you would have to overcorrect.
overlay Disney Junior dance party with Bluey, please. Let's
Or just
honestly,
add
I
it.
would be happy.
Add Bluey, add Super
Yeah.
Kitties.
Oh my goodness.
There was a
Love
time
Super
where they would have
Kitties.
done that. PB&J Otter, Bear in the Big Blue House, all those things that used to be
Wow.
in there.
Wow.
Let's have a Nubs
PB&J
character
Otter.
meet and greet.
How about some
How
love
about
for Hamster and Gretel? Emmy nominated.
Stanley? Remember Stanley?
Oh.
The Great Big Book of Everything? No? Okay. So Len, speaking of money, let's talk about money because Disney likes it and they run on it, and so they have investors, and so they did their Q4 end of year report on November 8th, and they talked about things like Disney Plus. Again, it's Disney Plus Day, kind of, but we didn't have a Disney Plus Day, probably because money, and so it's its fourth birthday with no fanfare. But Patrick and I did a Deep in the Plus on it this past week, so you should go watch that after you finish this because it was a lot of fun talking about it. But yeah, so they talked about everything into the company, but one of the things they talked about is a 10-year plan to invest in parks and resorts and experiences. My problem with that is that they're not saying Disney World. They're not saying that. They said parks and resorts and experiences. So they're building a couple ships. That's got to be a good chunk of change, and they invest in the product lines that they sell, and they invest in foreign parks. So like the parks overseas. So I don't think all this money is coming. Allison's leaning forward. She's ready to pounce. I love this. I love this energy. I am sad that I think that the only things we're getting, hopefully we'll get the things that we've been rumored to get, but they're spending a lot of money. But how much of it do you think we're going to see in the domestic parks, Allison?
So I love that that's your issue with it. That is an issue I have with it. The other issue I have with it is that they're like in the next decade and really more the latter half of the decade. That's a long time from now. A lot of things can happen in 10 years, in 5 years before you actually have to even spend a dime on it. They're like, we're going to start, gradually ramping up the spending. But like they could walk that back at any second. So whether it's going to be for the parks and resorts, which obviously that's where I want it to go, they put it to the cruise line or put it to some other idea that they have. Like, 10 years is a long time. This company is turning 100, right? 10 years is 10% of the lifespan of a company that's celebrating its centennial. It's a long time to wait. It is double the time I waited for Journey of Water. So that's my problem with it.
Oh God. Oh.
All of the things you just said have now made me sadder. That's I mean, again, it's a great point because we know Epic Universe is coming in 2025 from Universal. We know that we can see it. Thank you, BioReconstruct, for all the updates that you send all the time that we like just feed off of. But we don't really have anything under construction anymore. Everything's kind of done. I mean, obviously, we've got the Communicore Hall. I mean, I don't know how many people are excited to get their kids in that, but Communicore Hall is coming, and so Patrick, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to say something that I said, and you told me to save it for Sunday. The Walt Disney Company needs to realize that its bread is buttered through revenue from the parks and revenue that is going to come from ESPN and ESPN Bet, which will be debuting in 5 days. Those are going to be the money drivers. They need to get people to the parks. The movie theater industry is changing, and I don't think Disney is ready for it. I think we saw that with the Barbenheimer, and we're seeing it with Marvels. They got to do something different.
Hot take. I saw that today and I liked it. Just saying.
Thanks.
Yeah. Desi, bring this one home. I mean, how old are your kids going to be
Um,
at the end of this decade?
Teenagers.
yeah, they'll be teenagers. So,
They'll be over at Epic
but
Universe. Bye, mom.
I'm no, I'm still going to be dragging them to the parks. I don't know. I'm going to be optimistic and hope for the best. Hope that they are being sincere when they're saying that they're going to ramp up the spending, and it happens sooner rather than later.
One of the things that I had not heard any rumors of, and Tom talked about on News Today, was the fact that he thinks some of the spending is going to Paris, where they are already doing World of Frozen and things, and that the rumor is that they would maybe be working on a Lion King land, or at least an attraction. And I'm like, what took you so long? I mean, you love this IP. I mean, for everything else it's done, and anything that, except for Tale of the Lion King, apparently, anywhere else they put something Lion King, it always does well. So that would be amazing. But then I have to go to Paris, and there's not enough Duolingo in the world to get me over there right now. I just
Je
think,
parle français très bien.
oh, muy
Just-
bien.
Oh, no.
Mais non, mais non.
Mais no, pas du tout, au contraire. Okay, all right, yep, we're good. Anyway,
Just watch some Fancy Nancy,
yeah,
who has been
or-
meeting a Disney Junior for 15 years.
Yep, she's over there on her cigarette breaks afterwards because she's
Yeah, ballet.
all right. Well, let's close this out with something that I saw this and I did a double take. And I know that, Patrick, I know you roll deep. You got a lot of cash money. I know you don't care at all about this. But when I looked at this and it said Alice in Wonderland inspired New Year's Eve celebration coming to California Grill at Disney's Contemporary Resort will cost $799 plus per
Plus
person.
What? Plus
Well,
what?
I know, right? Plus, well, I mean, plus tax and tip. And there's the tax and tip on $800 is pretty expensive. I'm pretty
Plus
sure I don't spend
alcoholic
that much.
beverages, I'm sure,
Yeah.
are not included.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to throw this to you for one question, and I know that you opted out of this one, Desi. But I mean, for the people who say Star Cruiser was too expensive, like what?
I honestly, it made me so angry that people are still talking about how Star Cruiser was so expensive. It was what, $1,500 for each of us who were in the room. That's like less than two of these meals, and nobody is batting an eye at this. Nobody bats an eye at somebody spending twice that much on a Taylor Swift ticket. So
Whoa.
I
No.
don't
You
know.
do no. You do not
Company or
come.
the brand
You
or
do
anyone
not.
else
No.
on this panel.
No. You do not
No.
come for Taylor.
No.
You do not.
Jeez,
No.
what are you doing?
No. Oh my gosh. I don't even know. Wow. Yes.
Great.
She
Now we're
does
all
not.
in mortal danger. Way
Yes,
to go,
exactly.
Desi.
Exactly. There's got to be some legalese to cover this. I don't know. But I was looking at it here, and it's a 4-hour event. So basically like an after hours party. And it has a fanciful. The other thing is it's a New Year's Eve party that goes till 12:30. Okay. Y'all
Ball
got
drop,
30
Get out.
y'all got 30 minutes to kiss on the cheek, and you got to get the heck out of here because we got to close down. And then there's going to be a fanciful ice sculpture. So I mean that sounds well worth it. When I think fanciful ice sculpture,
I can't. I'm so angry about this. I can't even look. A night out for New Year's Eve in like a major city is expensive. Like it's a couple $100, but you get with that like a very nice plated dinner. You get an open bar. You get like, and the party's going to go till 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, not till 12:30. And everything about this makes me so angry because like there's like a carving station and stuff like. Oh, like, I'm sorry, you're not even getting a plated dinner. You're gonna have to stand up with your like little tiny hors d'oeuvre plates and like eat. Like, what is this? And the Alice theming doesn't actually make any sense. I love Alice. She's like my favorite. It's my avatar on my Disney experience. She's a big fan. But why here? It's like Grand Floridian, sure, but contemporary. I don't even understand. So I'm just like infuriated because it's like twice what you would pay in like New York City to at a nice place to go out for New Year's Eve. It's like half as long of a party, and then we're getting like it's going to be like the Sizzler, like it's a hot bar. I'm just so angry. And for sure, there's not going to be an open bar because Disney's not going to do that. So then on top of that, you're going to be like paying per drink when you paid this money. It is a completely insane. And does everyone remember when there used to be New Year's Eve every night at Pleasure Island for free?
For free. Yeah. Well, I mean, to Care Bear's point from the top, included complimentary in your paid admission to to Pleasure Island. But I mean,
$11. By the way, all those clubs for like $11.
12. Let's be real. But I've got 3 words for you though. Chilled appetizer station. Now are you interested? Chilled appetizer station. No, I realize we don't really have to do this, and I do love that they have kind of these opportunities for concierge experiences for people who have the money and want to spend it. I think that having those opportunities, but $800.
But
I mean,
that's not this.
I know.
This is like going to a wedding where they spent their like budget not on the food.
Patrick, finish it.
Why me? This is the most absurd thing I've heard of. And why Alice? What about the Contemporary Resort and California Grill screams Alice?
Now I'm picturing like the Incredibles dinner, like having
They're in the resort.
Yeah, having Mr. Incredible walking over to your table doing this.
Sculpture with Frozone chilled appetizers. He
writes itself.
Every now and then
writes itself.
He has to walk out and go, and now they're colder.
Yep. I mean, you're not saying anything that I don't agree with, so I think that's let's bring it back. I mean, okay. Well, that was my purpose in bringing this up. Is I looked at it, I was like, really? This doesn't make any sense, and I didn't deep dive into it enough to get mad that they weren't serving me at the table. I don't know, how much does a Victoria and Albert's dinner cost at the chef's table per person?
It's a lot. It's a lot of money, but
I think it's like $5.99. I think.
Yeah.
I think at the chef's table it's like $5.99. I'm not sure. It's been like 5 years since I've been.
I think my tab was over $1,000 for 2 people.
Okay, but and less than this.
Yeah. All right.
Less than this.
But again, how many ice sculptures?
I don't know. They had a crazy coffee contraption that I got to watch. It was the most delicious coffee I've ever tasted.
And I'm just going to go out on a limb here. How long is it? Is it longer than 4 hours?
I don't know. I had a lot to drink. Why do you ask questions like this about time?
I don't know, buddy. I don't know. All right. Thank you guys for being on the panel tonight. I appreciate it. We appreciate you guys watching. And again, if you have not already, please give us a thumbs up as it helps people to find us. One other thing, our WIGS members. We love our WIGS. The WDWNT Interglobe Society is what it stands for. It's our little Patreon family. So if you would like to become part of the family, come to patreon.com/WDWNT for all the information. We do have a post show for our WIGS members after this. So thank you guys for being here. And again, we ran a little bit long today. We're trying to give you everything around the world in 60 minutes, but we were off last week. We will be going from here on out, though. We had no show last week, but regular this week, regular next week. And then we're going to have the marathon show is actually going to be a Sunday matinee so that you can bid the rest of the day on auction items from 6 until probably 2 a.m. So tune in for us, hang out, and then the auction follows that night. And then on the 17th, which is the last show of the year, it will be our 250th episode, and we're very excited about that. So it's all due to you guys for watching. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Also, real quick, coming up on Deep in the Plus, we got Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, and then Desi's coming by to talk about Loki season 2. I'm sure she has thoughts.
Yes.
And then we're going to do Robin Hood and Duck the Halls, Muppets Christmas Letter to Santa, and then end the year with the Simpsons Christmas special. So again, we appreciate you guys watching, hanging out with us. We love hanging out with you guys on Sunday night. So thank you for doing that. Thank you guys on the panel here, and thanks for holding back for that. The Alice thing. You guys really, you really brought it home for that one. So anyway, we'll see you guys next Sunday night. Hopefully you'll swing by Wednesday night for Deep in the Plus, and have a great week. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
follow us on Kick.
On Kick.
Yep.
What's Kick?
Exactly.